Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're well. Today's video is going to be chatting about university, more specifically my honest university experience. I've recently just graduated from university and there's a separate video all about that, but this video is going to be about my entire experience, my honest thoughts about it now that I'm done, what I would do differently, and any advice that I would give to you guys that are either starting university or looking to apply. I know that a lot of you guys are, and a lot of my friends are actually either going back to uni or either starting, and it's a massive life thing, so I wanted to use my experience to help you guys. I'm not sure how long this video is actually going to be, but I've got a cup of coffee here and I'm ready for a good old chat. Go grab a drink and sit back, relax, and yeah, let's go. So just in case you are new around here, I've just finished studying media and communications for 3 years at London Metropolitan University, and an important aspect about my university experience that I should probably start with is the fact that I actually stayed at home and I didn't move out during the whole time that I was at university. It only takes me like 20 minutes to half hour to get into central London, and so I decided to stay at home. The price of accommodation in London is just extortionate and I could not afford that, and it meant that I could stay with my job as well, so it still meant that I was working. So I kind of looked at it that way and I decided to stay at home. I did want to move out because who doesn't want to move out really, and I'm kind of gutted that I've kind of missed out on that experience, but I've been able to put money that I saved up through not moving into London into travelling and seeing more of the world, which I've done quite a lot of over the past couple of years as well, so it kind of has its pros and has its cons. Right, so let's go all the way back to when I was applying for university. UCAS, personal statement, open days, all of that stuff. Oh my god, I do not miss it at all. So I was in sixth form and I was doing my A-levels and I absolutely hated it, and honestly when I say hated it, I was so desperate to just get out of education completely, and I wasn't set on going to university at first. I was literally so excited to get out of education. So yeah, initially I didn't want to go to university and I basically refused to do all of the work for it. I refused to look at universities, I refused to go on open days, I refused to do my personal statement, and then suddenly one day, about a couple months before I finished my A-levels, I decided I wanted to apply, which was really stupid because I ended up doing it all very last minute. I couldn't go on any open days because they had all passed, and I was just really stupid in that aspect. I really like the look of a course called Film Studies, and I applied for a few universities in London that did that. My heart was set on going to London, so all the universities that I applied for and looked for were in London because I just really desperately wanted to be in London more. I wanted to be in the capital. I felt so inspired by London, so I wanted to go there and be there all the time. And then I decided to scrap my whole application and I decided to change it to a course called Media and Communications, which I thought covered more topics and it was a bit more wider, and I thought I'd benefit from doing more skills in that course. So I applied for 5 London unis: University of Greenwich, University of East London, University of West London, University of the Arts London, and London Metropolitan University. My first choice was actually the University of the Arts because I heard really good things about that, but for some reason I didn't end up going. I got all 5 places in all of the universities, which I was really happy about, but I didn't go to the University of the Arts. I think it was because of something really stupid, which was like, they wanted the tuition fees before I'd even started, and what 17, 18-year-old has 9k in their back pocket to just pay for a tuition fee? It was never gonna happen. So I ended up picking second choice, which was London Metropolitan, because the honest truth is I thought it sounded fancy. I kind of regret that decision a lot, and I've learned from a couple of my friends going to different universities in London and seeing what they do that I would have done better going to another uni, and I kind of regret making London Met my choice to go to. Don't get me wrong, I've had a really good 3 years at London Met, I've made some really cool friends, but I kind of wish I went to somewhere like the University of Greenwich or the University of Westminster, somewhere where the course is just a lot better and it's really, really good. I've since learned how good the courses are at the other universities in London, and I kind of wish I'd done that now. But everything happens for a reason, and we graduated, so Yay! My whole kind of applying process to university was just so last minute and so rushed, and I just didn't look more into universities, and I didn't go on open days because I decided so late. So I kind of wish I could go back and just do it all properly. I might have even ended up going to another uni like Bournemouth or somewhere, or Manchester, where they have really good media courses that I didn't know about at the time, but now I know. I'll just honestly say to you guys applying to properly look into universities, go on as many open days as you like. You get to see different places where you might not have been before, and I kind of regret that. So yeah, go on open days, do your research, and yeah, don't leave it to the last minute like me. This is me sipping my tea, even though it's coffee. Okay, so just to give you a brief rundown on my 3 years. So when I started first year, I was so happy. I loved it. I thought university was so great and so cool. I really loved the course, and then I realised that nothing in the first year actually counts towards your degree. I got firsts in a lot of my modules, and yeah, none of it actually counted to my degree, so that's good. Moving on to second year, I hated it. And it was the reason for my mental health getting really, really, really bad. I couldn't cope with the stress, and I couldn't cope with the pressure. It was just not good. I was so exhausted from going in so much. I had to go in like 4 days a week, which commuting back and forth at rush hour in London, 4 days a week, it takes it out of you. So going into university 4 days a week and then obviously having to work the other 3 days, it just literally made me so exhausted, and my mental health was just so bad. I just wasn't great that year at all, and it even got to the point where I signed a form to actually drop out of university, and I had a meeting with my tutor. I chatted to him about everything and why I wanted to drop out, and I just wasn't feeling university anymore, and he suggested that I take a year out, kind of concentrate on myself, and then go back into it. And that was what I was going to do. I was going to have a gap year halfway through my course because I needed to get away from that situation. It just wasn't good for my health at all. Obviously, with my mental health not being great, it meant that my grades kind of slipped, and I didn't do too great in second year compared to the first year, and that got me down a lot because I wanted to do well at university, and I feel like you spend 3 years at university and you don't get a good degree. It's like, what have you done with your 3 years? So the pressure to do well at university was something that was kind of eating me up a lot. That whole summer I was away from university, and I kind of focused on getting better because I wanted to go back to uni and I wanted to complete it. I didn't want to take a year out. If I took a year out, I would have probably not even gone back. So I wanted to spend that summer taking some time for myself, doing loads of fun stuff with my friends, which happened. Then I ended up going back for my third year in the September after that summer, and I remember my tutor was actually so surprised to see me back on the first day of my third year. So yeah, moving on to third year, which of course I have just finished, so it's fresh in my memory. I actually loved it. Don't get me wrong, there was times in my third year where I felt so low, had so many breakdowns. That's something that happens at university, guys. You do end up stressing a lot. You have breakdowns. You end up sitting in your room, crying, and it's one of those things that I think just comes with the package. Anyways, so it didn't help the fact that I was still at home, so obviously still with my mum and dad and my sister. So many distractions, so I tried to kind of leave the house. I'd go to the local Starbucks with my laptop and my notepad, and I'd do my work there, or I'd just stay in the library at university. Kind of getting away from your home kind of helped me to kind of do my work more. I don't know if that's because I stayed at home, and it probably would have been different if I moved out, but I just preferred studying and doing work elsewhere, and it really helped me to kind of focus more on what I was doing. My coffee's going cold. Overall though, looking back on my third year, I actually pretty much enjoyed it, and it was very fun. And one assignment that I really liked in my third year was a practical one where we had to make a documentary. We made a documentary called Uploading, and it was about how YouTube's a massive part of my personal life, and kind of the experiences that I've benefited from making YouTube videos. It is actually up on my channel, so you guys can watch it if you want. I'll leave a link in the description. I really loved making it, and we got a first in it as well, so I was really happy about that. And yeah, it was a very good year, I think, and I feel like that's because I kind of was ready for the amount of work, and I feel like the second year I just wasn't prepared for the jump between first and second year. Nobody actually ever tells you about the jump between first year and second year. It is massive, and the intensity of the work is insane, so prepare yourself if you're going into second year, honestly. And then here we are now. I am officially a graduate. I graduated with a upper second class honours, and I am now a Bachelor of Science, which I can just picture your face right now. You're probably staring at your screen like, what? But basically, media comes under social sciences at some unis, and it comes under the arts in some unis. And at London Met, it actually comes under the body of science. So I'm a Bachelor of Science now. My worst GCSEs, but I'm a Bachelor of Science. So kids, don't let anyone tell you can't achieve anything, okay? But overall though, I'm really glad that I went to university. I'm glad I stuck it out. I'm glad I went back and I didn't take that year out, because I would be sat in the same position right now about to go into my third year rather than saying that I've graduated. So it's a really good feeling to think that I don't have to go back and I'm done with education now, and I can go and live life and be free and be in 30 grand of debt, but we're free now, so it's good. There's obviously so many things that I would go back and change if I could go back in time, but that's with anything in life. You're always going to think about how you can do things better and do things differently, but I'm pretty happy with what I've achieved. I'm pretty glad that I went to university. Since my graduation, actually, all of my family have said that they just did not expect me to go to university and they expected me to drop out, so love proving my own family wrong. But honestly, it's been a really good experience. I've made some really good friends that I'm gonna stay in touch with forever, and I'm really happy about kind of just finishing in general. Okay, so moving on to money. That's a big thing when you're a student, and well, I say a big thing. It's a big thing that you probably don't have a lot of when you're a student. Make sure you apply for student finance, because then your tuition fees are covered, and then you get a bit of money that goes towards your rent as well, which could be so helpful to you. Me personally, I didn't have to pay for rent because I stayed at home, and also I was working as well. So it's important for me when I was at university to budget weekly and set money aside every single week to go towards university. Obviously I had to get the train every day, so I had to get a travel card, which would be £18 on some days and then £12 on the other days. When I'd have an afternoon lecture it would be £12, and when I have a morning lecture it would be £18 because I'd be travelling peak time. So when I had to go in 4 days a week, that would literally be between £70 to £80 a week on train tickets, and that makes me so sick. But that's how it is. So it's so important to budget, because you don't realise how much money you're actually spending when you go into uni. Also, if you're doing food shops, set a limit. I've actually just teamed up with this really cool app called Loot to show you guys how to budget effectively when you're at university. This app is seriously so good, and I really wish I used it when I was at uni, because it just would have made budgeting for food so much easier. They even send you a little cute debit card, which is nice. My favourite thing about it is the fact that you can create a budget per week. So you can create a weekly budget of how much money you want to spend, and if I make that 50 quid, because that's all I've got in my account at the moment, I can set that, and it tells me that I've got £7.14 to spend today, which I think is so helpful to know exactly how much you can spend on food. And then when you start spending, it tells you how much you've got left of your weekly budget, so that's really handy to know. So if you want to spend a little bit extra on one day, it will tell you how much you've got left overall, which I think is just so helpful, especially if you're moving out and you're buying food weekly, doing your weekly shop. It's just so handy to budget, so I would fully recommend you to download this app and it will help you out loads. Okay, so the other day on my Instagram story I asked you guys to send me some topics to cover about my honest university experience, because I want to know what you guys wanted to hear as well. So we have got a good question which says, was uni worth it for you? The honest truth is, with my course, you don't need a degree to do it. So I did media, and that was a lot of photography, a lot of videography, a lot of writing about different media stuff, a lot of essays, a lot of reports. I don't think I mentioned that there wasn't any exams in my course as well, which is kind of why I did it, because I don't like exams. So it's very coursework based, and I realised this while doing it, that I definitely did not need this degree to do it, because I enjoy doing it, and if I really enjoy doing it and love doing it, I would do it. And that is basically what I've always done during the time of my course. I've always done this, which is what I enjoy doing. Media kind of comes into it as well, so I enjoyed learning about it. I had to sit myself down and say to myself, if I was applying for a job and there was other candidates applying for that job as well, and I had a portfolio of stuff that I had already made, and then I also had a degree, that would put me hopefully ahead those other candidates. So I kind of feel like it's worth it in that aspect, but I know that my course, a degree isn't needed for it, but I really felt like it was worth it because of the experience and because of what I learned about, and it kind of helped me to become a more independent person. So yeah, I do feel that university was worth it, but I know that I didn't need to go for this course and didn't need to go to get into this career. Could you talk about your opinion on the social side of your uni? Okay, so socialising is something that I didn't really do a lot of at university. Going back to freshers, the first couple of weeks when you're new to the uni, everyone's out drinking all the time and socialising and going to all these events. I literally went to like one or two just because I'm not a fan of that sort of thing. I'm not really a kind of going out person. I'm not really a fan of going clubbing. And I went to a few events because you've got to go to freshers events, and I would fully advise you to go to as many freshers events as you can. But I went to a few freshers events and they were cool. It was good to meet new people, but overall I felt so uncomfortable in that situation, and I left really early. I had to get my train home anyway, so that was my excuse. But I just wasn't comfortable in them at all, so I just wasn't a fan of that sort of thing. And then my favourite freshers event was actually the freshers fair. Basically, you guys, if you're a fresher, you need to go to the freshers fair. You get so much free stuff, that's so helpful, and it's just such a cool place. You see loads of stalls, you get loads of free stuff like I just said, and I got free Domino's pizza, so that was a plus. But in terms of socialising, I got on really well with a lot of people in my course, so we were really good friends. We'd do stuff outside of uni. There's a McDonald's down the road from uni, so we'd sometimes, after our lecture, go to McDonald's. There was also a really nice dessert place down the road, so we'd go there. And I made some really good friends in my course, and they were really cool. But as for the whole socialising thing, I didn't really go out in London. One, because it was very expensive, and two, I'm just not about that life at all, so didn't really do much of that. How do you manage to keep up with your uni work and have a job? Well, this is a very good question, because I feel like it's very important, because you need to have a job to survive, to earn money for rent. The honest truth is I feel like I'm just really lucky with that. So I actually started working where I work about a year before I started university, so they knew me really well, and I said that I would stay in and I was gonna go to university, but I was staying at home, so I would still be working shifts. And they were so good to me, they literally adjusted my shifts on days where I wouldn't even be in university, which was so helpful because I didn't want to go into London to go for a lecture and then come all the way home and then have to do a 6-8 hour shift. That would just be too much in one day. But they took that into consideration, and it meant that I could really properly schedule and plan my week every single week. So I'd know what days I'll be working, what days I'll be in uni, and I'd try and have a just full day of doing uni work and then full day of doing work. That's kind of how I managed to do both at the same time. So I knew what day I was in work, what day I was in uni, and work knew when I would be at uni and when I wouldn't be able to come in, and then I would kind of make university my priority. So if there was a day where I had to go into university when it would usually be a work day, all I had to do was say to them, I'm really sorry, I have to go into uni. I was kind of just lucky at how considerate they were towards it, because I know that a lot of workplaces are really funny about it. So honest truth is I was just really lucky with where I work and how kind of flexible they were with me, but that isn't the case for everyone, unfortunately. Was it worth the money? Very important question, and my honest answer is I seriously do not even know. I'm in that kind of limbo bit at the moment where I don't know what I'm doing with my life at the moment. I'm still kind of trying to figure that out, And then also I can't tell you if it was worth the money because I've literally just finished. So I literally graduated a month ago and I haven't really had the time to think about whether it was worth it. I haven't got a job in my degree yet because my initial plan now is to go travelling, so I haven't gone looking for a job with my degree. So the honest truth is I don't know. Ask me in a couple of years and I will probably be able to give you a more better answer. Did you choose your A-levels based on what you wanted to do at uni? That is honestly such an important question, and I can honestly say I didn't even think about university when I applied for A-levels. I feel like it's more common now because of how kind of big universities kind of become, and it's such a big thing that they kind of get students kind of thinking about at a earlier age. But I genuinely did not know what I wanted to do with my life when I was applying for my A-levels. A lot of people don't actually know this, but I wanted to become an actor, so I went and studied performing arts as an A-level, and then I was kind of pressured to take English literature, so that would go well with it, so I ended up taking that. Hated it after a couple of weeks, ended up dropping it. I also took ICT because I enjoyed ICT, and then I ended up hating that because that was just so boring because it was like databases and that sort of stuff that I just wasn't interested in at all. So I ended up dropping that after my first year, and then I switched English to art and design because I just really enjoyed art and I really enjoyed drawing, I really enjoyed photography, I just really enjoyed that sort of stuff. I enjoyed being creative. So when I finished my first year of A-levels, they actually introduced media as a new course for A-levels. So I was just like, do you know what? I'm dropping ICT, I'm switching to media. I really want to do that course. I love making videos and I love photography. I want to do it more often. But this also meant that I had to stay an extra year of A-levels and stay an extra year at sixth form because it was a 2-year course. So it was really weird. I finished 2 of my subjects at the end of my second year, and then I had like 1 year of just doing one subject just to finish that media course, which was worth it because it meant that I went to university a year late, which I felt was a good decision because I didn't feel ready after my second year at all. And then I also managed to spend more time on that course that I got a distinction star, so happy days. That is the grade that got me into university and got me all 5 of my places at all the 5 unis that I applied for. So initially I just didn't think that I was going to go to university, so I didn't really think about it when I was applying for my A-levels. But then during my A-levels I kind of wanted to do more of what I love, and then media become the thing that I was just involved in a lot more, that I knew I wanted to do more of and wanted to study at university. So it kind of happened like that. A bit of a weird scenario, but that's what happened. I think that is literally it. I feel like I could literally sit here for hours talking about my honest university experience. So if you do have any questions about anything that I haven't talked about, drop it in the comments. I'll be going through and I'll be responding to all of them to help you guys out. So be sure to do that. This video has probably been so long, so apologies about that, but I wanted to share my honest experience and sit down and chat to you all. My coffee has literally gone cold because I've been talking so much, so yeah. But if you're applying for university, or you're starting university, or you're just halfway through your course, or possibly finishing or going into your final year at university, wherever you're at with your university experience, then good luck. I hope you do well. A bit of advice that I would give to any of you guys at university would be to know exactly when your deadlines are, set time aside to work on your assignments and revise for your exams, and take some time out to look after yourself as well, whether it's like an hour a day or whether it's a whole day. Organise your time wisely and also budget your money as well. Broke ass student is not good, so yeah. Make sure you know exactly what you're spending your money on. Don't forget to follow my social media down below, and I will see you all next time. Lots of love. Bye.